We got Billy, Sanex on the gap down here. Actually, a lot of these little aluminums are gapping down. Then we got GRFS. This one's actually looking pretty good too. We got multiple tests on support here to break this little sucker down. So we actually did break below it pre-market, so we're already down there. So I'll watch this one for an ORB. So we got a lot of hot little numbers over here today. Man, Asphyx, that was the shred of shreds yesterday. We hit this thing at the open, but I covered it too early. Yeah, I got out of my last shares at like 32.90. Fucking A, right? So this thing is, I keep this on watch for day 2. Look, yesterday the NASDAQ was actually flat, and it's actually kind of busted back over, but there's been a lot of carnage in the tech names. So I'd keep some of these on watch for potential shorts if the market starts to roll over again. You know, Roku finally cracked support yesterday. AMD finally cracked support yesterday. You're under all these kind of major moving averages. You know, overall, this one's got a lot of rollover to it too. But the market may bounce. So one thing that's happening with the markets right now is that anytime it looks ugly, it actually ends up bouncing. If we need a bounce play, I think this TTD is the play. I mean, you can see this thing. So you're already at piercing the lower Bollinger Band. You're kind of right off at really close to support here. So it looks like this kind of 125, 130 is going to be the big support on this bad boy. I'd keep this bad boy on watch for potential bounce today. Out of all the gappers, I would say on the upside, Billy is probably Billy's the one to go. You know, this one's got really a nice move on it, so I'd keep an eye on this bad boy, and I think this one's going to be the fave of the day. What do you think? Anywho, it's a short watch list today. What are you going to do? Sorry for the technical difficulties. That is the nature of the game. Put PYX on the watch too. It got rejected by resistance yesterday, but you know, if these kind of little pot stocks come back, this one should break it. That was the third test yesterday, but you know, obviously it's not a very tight pattern yet. The more it kind of dribbles up this way, kind of gets over there, I think you're going to have a little bit of chance on this one. NVCN's also moving right now, but this one's kind of, I know a lot of people ask about this, but this one's, the daily chart sucks D on this one, so I'd probably leave that one alone. You know, if you need something to bounce, this TNA's come really a long way. This is the ETF for the Russell 2000. So the small cap market has been leading the way to the market. The small caps have been dumping like every day, and that's been putting a lot of weakness into the market. I think a little bit of weakness on this thing, get that thing close to the 200-day moving average. I think you're going to be good to go. Chinese stocks, all are going to depend on Billy. So IQ, Huya, none of them matter unless this Billy holds. If this Billy holds off the gate, then IQ Huya will follow. PBR is okay, but look, this is a high float stock. It tends to gap up and then grind a little bit because it's a foreign stock. You know, overall, this type of stock is you know, really good for swing trades. I'd wait for kind of a pullback on it personally if I was trading it. It's okay for day trades, but it's just more of a grinder, Mr. Dave. Exxon looks all right. You know, to me, this one's just come way too far. It's faded back its whole game. So, like, when you think about, like, what a news play is, if a news play's kind of come all the way back and faded back the whole game, then that news must have been just deep, right? So, at that point, you leave it alone. And there are some South American stocks. You can see this gold's kind of popping up. So, keep an eye. So, gold, PBR, these are all kind of like Brazilian airlines, Brazilian oil companies, so on and so forth. And the ETF for Brazil is EWZ. You can see a longer-term bottoming pattern. You've got a double bottom over here, and so you start to kind of remount some MA. So if you look at the chart for PBR, essentially, you know, it moves the same with the Brazil ETF. Or as Paul Singh would say, hey guys, and let's talk about the Brazilian ETFs. Nah, those UVXY calls, you never know what happens with those. They just grind down for the most part. Siggy Bear. So SIG is another one. It's kind of just stuck at resistance, but it's gotten over. But now you're just hitting into another level of resistance. So to me, that's a no-go, right? When we're thinking about breakouts, like I want to see clean stuff. So just kind of something to keep an eye on. Top play for today is Billy. And then we'll have to keep an eye on this tech market to see like really like what's going down on this. We don't want to have, what we don't want to see really with the techs is like a huge decimation. Number one, because we traded a lot, but number two, they tend to lead the market a little bit. So we'll have to kind of keep an eye on them. Dun, 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 dun. But I think Billy's going to be the hot one off the gate here today. So, that's just a gas. Dun, 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 dun. All right, folks, let's go do what we do, Let's go do what we do. TTD kind of ruined that gap for me, huh? If I could turn back time. Watch the same D. This thing's already gone green to red on this bad boy. Same thing with S-Fix.